taken on the streets and killed. What are you going to do as African Union to get some teeth in the defense processes of the continent? That's the first question.
I'm glad you asked that question. And if the truth be told, the African Union was not pleased with the manner in which the UN Security Council voted to take out Saddam in the manner that they did. The African Union had a plan. Zuma, President Zuma of South Africa, had already accepted him for asylum. Plans were underway to talk to Gaddafi for him to move to South Africa. So yes, the decision to take out Gaddafi went against the wishes of the African Union. We wished things had been handled a little differently. You're quite right. I think, but when you're coming up against more powerful forces, again, it goes back to Africa taking its rightful place on the world stage. But AU was clearly opposed to the manner in which Gaddafi was taken out without a plan for replacement, which is what led us to the Libya that we have today.
My second question, black racism on white. I've seen farms being taken over by Mugabe forces, the ZANU-PF people. What is the African Union doing to, when we talk about racism from Africa and we bash colonists, and we actually are doing that to their citizens right there, what are you going to do to recompensate and rehabilitate those citizens who have been there for 4 generations, 5 generations? What is African Union going to do for that?
Okay, I like the fact that you're putting a timeline there. See, with history, we have a tendency to say, well, let's start the story from here moving forward. But let's not talk about the story going back. In Zimbabwe, you have to say, how did we get there? Let me take 1 minute and summarize it for you. When the British came to Zimbabwe, they analyzed the country and divided it into 4 regions. Region 1 was the best soil, the best rains, best conditions for farming. Region 2, pretty close to Region 1. Region 3, there were some areas there, the soil was not so good and the rain was good but not the best. Region 4, no rain. The soil was horrible, mosquitoes and sesaflies. So they set out a plan. If you were an adventurous British, a veteran of the First or Second World War, you were guaranteed 2,000 hectares. Hectares, multiply 2,000 by 2.2. You were guaranteed that much in Zimbabwe, plus any loot from the local people. So a British man would land in Zimbabwe. So based on the regions that they had decided, they were going to move all the black people, preferably from the region 1 and 2 to region 4. So the process started. And how did a British map up their land? You got on a horse, they'll tell you this region. Get on a horse and you ride in one direction for a day until either you or your horse were tired. You put your peg. Tomorrow morning you do the same thing. So it took 4 days for the Englishman to map up his land. At the end of the 4 days, everything in it is yours. And the people who lived on that land were told, in this direction, go past this mountain. In this direction, go past this river. They left with whatever they could carry. The chickens, the goats, the cows, they were theirs. And some of them were not so lucky. You were barely settled again when another Englishman came and he was given that part. And there you were again. Slowly the process of moving black people to the west parts of the country started, and it was finally completed in the 50s. Now, you want to ask me who needs to be compensated? Are you with me?
Yes.
So we got to go to the beginning rather than understanding things superficially. How did you get your hand? It just goes about how fast you could go. Some of these farmers were owning 5, 6, 7 farms. I know my family farm, and I grew up hearing the story from my own father. When the situation took place in the case of my father. He remembers distinctly, he was a teenager. And he used to, when white men came to Africa with their pants, they called them men without knees. He remembers men without knees coming to the village on horses. There was some hush talk. He didn't know what was going on. But he remembers waking up one morning and the whole village was on fire. They were being torched by these men without knees on horses. His aunt was pregnant and was due any day. So they had asked for permission for her to stay until she delivers. It was one little hut that was left standing in a burnt out village. They left with whatever they could carry. Sadly for them, Aunt didn't deliver for 3 weeks.
Tombstone, certain words on their tombstone. You pass on 59 when you had your bloodless coup. I started in journalism, which is a strange coincidence. And I also had a Volkswagen car like your Beetle. But we say in the West that people should have certain things on their tombstone, certain words on their tombstone. What do you think most people would want to see on Muammar Gaddafi's tombstone? Gaddafi an angel? Or Gaddafi a villain?
ماذا تريد أن يكتب عنك؟ لا ما أسمع كلام السؤال الآخر. لا يعني قصده سيدي يعني قصده ماذا تريد أن يكتب عنك سيدي بعد 100 سنين؟ إيه قالوا بعض الكلمات. لا ما هو سيدي من بيش يعني I don't want to. لا يعني شو بدنا أنا قال عني أنا اللي عملت من الآخرين. That I worked for the others, to give service to the others.
So Gaddafi...
Nothing for myself.
Gaddafi the servant. Could I finish on this note? And I thank you for...
One last question.
One last question. For a man who was regarded by many people in the West as a fearsome person and a danger to peace and democracy, how do you describe yourself to people who say that? Were we wrong about you?
طبعا بالله أنا مسامحهم وأنا كانوا جهلة. I forgive them. They were ignorant.
Thank you. That's very generous. That's very generous of you. Thank you very much. Thank you.